And welcome to another brand new episode of This Week in Disney History. I am your host, Milo Beasley. Hopefully you're being safe out there. You're staying home. You're doing all the things that the cool kids do to make sure that we get through this thing as safe as possible and can get to the parks as soon as possible. So that's coming up soon. But this week, actually this week is a weird spot because we're actually in between the 4th of July holiday and the July 17th opening of Disneyland, the anniversary of Disneyland Park. So if only there was somebody that could tell us the things that happened in between those dates. Like what happened this week in Disney history. A sound effect. So like when that thing, it's like. So when we left off on July 4th, right? So we're going to pick up with July 5th, 1988. That's right. The Maelstrom opens at the Norway Pavilion at the Epcot Center, the debut of Maelstrom. Unfortunately, you can no longer see the Maelstrom in its final form. You can still see the skeleton and the bare bones and stuff like that inside the Frozen Ever After. I was actually a bigger fan of Maelstrom. I think there's a lot of people that were a bigger fan of Maelstrom than Frozen Ever After. Personally, because there was like a 5-minute wait as opposed to like an hour wait to go into the air conditioning. So, moving on to July 6th, 1994. We mentioned, so we talked about Epcot Center, and we talked a lot about Captain EO last week. We'll talk about it again, as July 6, 1994 actually saw the closing of the very first run of the Captain EO show at the Epcot Center. I was able to catch it on the second or third time. Don't worry, it'll be back. Staying on July 6, 2 years ago, 2018, Ant-Man and the Wasp, part of the MCU, coming to you at a theater near you. And I still can't shake that post-credits scene from my memory. Oh man, you did a number. Like, you know, I mean, if you watched it, you know, but like, you can't do that. You can't just drop that on somebody when they're like, oh, that was a good movie, and then boom. No. Okay, so I'm still thinking about it. So moving on to July 7th, 2006, the Pirates of the Caribbean movie Dead Man's Chest hits theaters, as well as the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction reopening at the Walt Disney World, featuring animatronic Jack Sparrow and animatronic Captain Barbossa on the boat. He's shooting the cannons at you. You son of a gun. That's all I got. Hey, the jokes are only going to get worse from here, including moving on to July 8th, 1938, in the Wayback Machine, a Donald Duck cartoon titled "The Good Scouts" is premiered, not to a theater, but I mean to a theater, because that's the only way you can see movies. You didn't really have the on-demand Disney Plus. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, Donald Duck and the Good Scouts. And the only reason I really want to talk about this is because of this picture. Donald Duck and his Scoutmaster. That's it. I butchered the entire thing just to show that picture. That was pretty much it. And moving on to July 8th, 1994. The Legend of the Lion King show premieres at the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Saying, where could this possibly be at the Magic Kingdom? It was actually where PhilharMagic is at the Fantasyland Theater. So I never got to see it. I've seen the Festival of the Lion King, but I never got to see Legend of the Lion King. But now I know how to hand jive because I've been to Festival of the Lion King. Staying on July 8th, 2008. One of my favorite places in all of Disney parks to stay, the Tokyo Disneyland Hotel, opens up to guests at the Tokyo Disneyland Resort. It's absolutely beautiful. It may be my favorite place to stay, and it's like right outside. So like you have your breakfast, you go outside, and boom, you just pretty much walk through the turnstiles. And happy 15. which you don't have to line up at 3 o'clock no matter what William and Matthew say. July 8th, still we're on July 8th, 2009, the Disneyland Park parking lot is now a construction zone as we have our groundbreaking for what will be the Disney California Adventure Park. Love DCA. Where are we at now? July 9th, right? July 9th. I said the 8th, so now we're on the 9th. July 9th, 1982. One of the cult classics, I guess, if you will, of the Disney film vault. Tron makes its way to theaters, an absolute digital movie classic. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the original, I highly recommend you do that. I'm not just telling you that because I'm a program. Staying on July 9th, 1999. Discovery Island at the Magic Kingdom, well, next to the Magic Kingdom, next to the Contemporary, in Seven Seas Lagoon, Bay Lake, all those keywords that I need to throw at you, officially closes. Now, the actual island, which was a zoo type area, actually closed on April 8th of that year, but July 9th, I think we're on. One take, guys, one take. Is the official closing date of that park. Is it? You really couldn't have a zoo-like island and a zoo, not a zoo-like theme park like Animal Kingdom at the same time. So it just didn't. They're a little, you know. I don't know what I was gonna say competition, but then that word didn't come out of my mouth. So we're gonna move on to July 10th. 1981. We have a couple really cool classic movies here on July 10th. First, 1981, Fox and the Hound gets released. And then 6 years later, 1987, July 10th, Brave Little Toaster. That's right. Are you a fan? You a fan? You can catch them. Actually, I don't think Brave Little Toaster. Is Brave Little Toaster on Disney Plus? I don't think it is. To check that out. Also on July 10th, one of the coolest places in all of Disney parks, La Plaza de Remy, opens up to guests at Disneyland Paris at the Walt Disney Studios. It's you have the Ratatouille ride there, Chez Remy. There's the cool little little area with fountains and stuff like that. But it's a really, really cool looking place. I absolutely love going there anytime I go to Disneyland Paris. And I met the Aristocats there. I met a lot of people at the Plaza. Moving on. Last day this week, July 11th. Guys, one take is really, really tough. July 11th, 1986. Cinderellas Castle Mystery Tour opens up at the Tokyo Disneyland Resort at their Tokyo Disneyland. This was actually really cool. It was a walkthrough attraction of Cinderella's Castle featuring the Magic Mirror, Maleficent, Chernabog. I mean, not like he was. It featured a lot of the Disney villains inside the actual castle. This was deemed too scary for guests and eventually did shut down. But you can actually still do the walkthrough in Cinderella's Castle, which I highly, highly recommend. And then you can get your picture in the balcony, be like, hey, it's me, take my picture. July 11th, 1991, the Walt Disney Company comes to an agreement with the Pixar Company, to Pixar Films, they do the shake hands. I can't. They make an agreement. This is the last thing. I made it all the way here, and then I'm like flubbing. You know what happened. Disney was like, hey, we want to buy you guys. And they were like, cool, yeah. You want to make our movies and distribute them? And Disney was like, yeah, let's do it, yay. And now we have a bunch of cool movies, and I have a bunch of cool photos. And finally, July 11th, 2020. You're saying, wait a minute, has that even happened yet? It hasn't, but July 11, 2020 is the reopening of the Magic Kingdom and Disney's Animal Kingdom theme parks after the month-long shutdown. So, hey, if you're going there, Be safe. Wear a mask. And if you're not going there and you're just watching this video, subscribe, follow, like, and share this video, please and thank you. Again, thank you for watching This Week in Disney History. I feel like you need to see my lips when I'm talking. He's just dubbing that. I'm going to go.